Every Indian, when asked, and sometimes when not even asked, will say that we respect our soldiers, that our armed forces is the one institution that there is unwavering respect and love for. But does India really have a culture of caring for our military? This question is in sharp focus after Budget 2026 and a contentious and I would say entirely unwarranted decision in the budget that now stipulates that if you are a soldier who has suffered a disability in the line of duty, but instead of getting boarded out or leaving the military, you continue to serve in the military and complete your term and then retire, you will no longer get a tax exemption on your disability pension. A soldier should not even have to quarrel about this. We should not even be needing to host this program. If we really respect those who risk their lives every day so that you and I can be safe, the least we can do is to not tax disability pension. Why are we even having to talk about this? But after Budget 2026, there will be two categories of the conflict wounded. Those who continue to get exemptions on injuries that they've suffered during duty if they've left the military, and those who continue to serve, superannuate, and then do not get these tax exemptions. Why is there not more pushback and noise around this? And will Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman review her decision? I certainly hope and appeal to her to do so. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. Images like this are celebrated in our country. A corporal who lost his arm during Operation Sindoor. There are many like him who, without complaint, always with a smile on their face, continue to serve India and continue to be proud of their uniform. But now, after Budget 2026, there are new questions over how India is treating our disabled soldiers. Nirmala Sitharaman will have to counter the anguish and the anger in the military veterans community after Budget 2026 has created two categories of the war and conflict wounded. One, who are boarded out or leave the military after having suffered a disability, they will continue to get tax exemptions on their disability pension. And the second category is those who continue to serve a full term and then retire. They will no longer, unless Ms. Sitharaman changes her mind on this decision, they will no longer get a tax break. In the last few days, I've had families of disabled soldiers, some of whom are still serving, reach out to me. As somebody who cut my teeth as a young reporter covering a war and having covered the military all my life, this development has disturbed me personally. And I hope that many more of us will raise our voice in solidarity with soldiers so that nationalism, patriotism isn't just a hollow headline or the subject of shrill television debates. To talk about what our veterans are feeling, I want to introduce a very distinguished panel. I want to first welcome to the program General VP Malik, former Chief of Army Staff, who led this country during the Kargil War. Thank you, sir. It's always an honor. I also want to welcome to the program General Dhanoa. General Dhanoa is, of course, a military veteran, somebody who has personally felt and experienced what it feels like to suffer a disability in the line of duty and has been very blunt and very vocal on all that is happening after Budget 2026. Thank you, sir. I also want to welcome to the program Dr. Ankur Chaturvedi. Ankur was an NDA cadet when he had to leave the NDA because of an injury he suffered while training as a cadet. But since then, he has spent a lot of energy and time speaking up for disabled veterans for the military community. And Dr. Ankur, it's good to see you on the program. And finally, a personal hero for me, Maj DP Singh, a Kargil War veteran, India's first Blade Runner, has battled so many odds with a smile on his face, skydiving his way, literally and metaphorically, through all the googlies that life bowls his way. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. General Malik, I want to start actually with you, if I may. You are the senior most officer here. You have been Chief of Army Staff. The military community is your family. They will all look towards you right now for a word in support. And I know you've already expressed that on social media. So, General Malik, if I can ask you, to come in with your comments.
Good evening, Barkha, and thank you for getting me on this panel, which I think is concerning a very important issue. I personally feel that whatever has now been done uh, to discriminate against the disabled soldiers is unwarranted, totally unjustified, and totally uncalled for, frankly. I have seen a number of soldiers, number of officers. Firstly, I must say that all these people who are retained in service, they are retained after a medical examination by a board, a medical board which examines them, and the medical board feels that their service can be utilized despite the category that they are in, which is generally, either C or any of those disabled category, what we call. But they are categorized as C or B, something like that. Now, despite that, if they are allowed to serve, it is because of that medical category which has been given.
Yeah.
I know of a number of officers, including two ex-army chiefs who were wounded in war, and then they continued to retain and they became the army chiefs. One is Field Marshal Malik. He was wounded during Second World War, and he later on became not only army chief, he became field marshal. The other is General Tepi Raina. He lost his eye, but he continued to serve, and then he became the chief. Then there are so many other soldiers I know. Pankaj Joshi, I think he became an army commander. Ian Cardozo, I think everybody in the services knows who General Cardozo was, who lost his leg during Bangladesh war. And we have General Vijay Oberoi, who became vice chief. So firstly, it is no welfare measure. It is on the basis of their talent, their capability that they are retained, and then they manage to go up to that level. And so I feel that this discrimination between those who leave service and who continue to serve, it is absolutely uncalled for. The fact is that they are wounded either in war or otherwise, and they continue to serve because the medical board allows them to continue to serve. So I do feel like you that this discrimination that has been started now, it should be done away with.
Okay, General Malik, before I open this up, I want to ask you, why do you think it's happened? I mean, what is even the ill-conceived sort of logic behind this, or what is the ill-conceived argument that you may have picked up behind this?
No, it's beyond me, frankly. And if it is about money, I think there is hardly any money involved when you look at our Army, our Navy, our Air Force budget. When you look at the defense budget, the involvement, financial involvement is negligible, absolutely. So I really don't know what else came in their mind that they wanted to do away with this, giving this disability pension to people who continue to serve till the end of their service.
General Dhanoa, I want to just recap there what General Malik said. One, he said that it is entirely unwarranted and unjustified, this discrimination within those who are conflict wounded or war wounded. He cited the examples of many eminent officers who have been wounded and have gone on to achieve great heights, Sam Manekshaw among them. And then he spoke about how if you continue in the service, it is only after a medical board examines you and declares you fit. So this is not some kind of charity to those who continue in service. And he totally disagrees with what has happened. This is, of course, personal for you as well, as I'm sure you feel strongly about it as a veteran. What is going on here? General Dhanoa, could you unmute your... Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
General Malik is very, succinctly put across the issue of where it stands today. For me, it's a very personal issue because, see, way back in 1993, in December, I met with an accident on the firing ranges where there was a piece of ammunition which blew up prematurely. I lost almost my complete left hand. It was only with the last-minute intervention of a surgical specialist that my thumb was saved. And it was because of that I was found to be in a category where I was fit to continue service, albeit with some restrictions on some of the terrains where I could serve. And later on, because of rehabilitation and certain amount of effort, I did attend the staff college. In fact, General Malik was the commandant of the staff college when I did my staff course back in 1994-95. And since then, I have continued with this disability. At that point, I never thought that this is something that's going to come up later in retirement. I was just thankful that the injury had not been so grievous that I was forced to leave service. And today, when I look back at the fact that I was granted the equivalence of a war injury, and I am receiving the pension which you give to war injured, it's not something which I had asked. If you ask me today, I would very much say that I would still prefer to have a complete hand rather than claim any disability. But that can't be. So when you retire, you take into account the additional disability pension that you're getting. And in my case, you can now imagine that with just one change of a pen, my tax liability, which was X, has now become nearly 20 times X. So that is a big jolt to me, because had I known back in 2020 when I retired that this is what was going to happen 5-6 years down the line, I would have planned differently in terms of my investments, my savings. So today, because of the fact that I also did not take commutation of pension, because I was given an exemption of income tax, now all of a sudden the tax liability is way beyond what I would have imagined. So that's where I stand. I am quite prepared to, based on what the government decides, pay my due share of monies back to the government if they so think so. But I think it's unfair. If you have been categorized by the government itself, they have given me a certain disability, they have given me a war injury status, then why is it that today all of a sudden you are being penalized? So yes, it is personal for me.
Can I ask you, and it may sound banal, but what does it make you feel in terms of sentiment? Is it a kind of cynicism? Is it anger? Is it is it sadness? I mean, I don't know what the correct adjective would be, so I'd rather you describe your own response. What is it, General Dhanoa?
Well, this definitely not sadness. It is cynicism tinged with a bit of anger. Because, had I known back in 2020 that this is it, you have to pay income tax, I would have happily done so. I mean, I was okay going home with whatever the government was giving me. But 6 years down the line, if all of a sudden you're now told that, what the government is giving you, it's also surreptitiously, in a way, taking back 20 to 30% of that by way of tax, then it does hurt. And it's not that one will change his way of living or one will change, the things that you like doing, travel, reading, etc. All that will carry on. Life will carry on. But it'll always be with, this feeling that somewhere along the way, because they felt that there were others who did not deserve it for whatever reasons, they have taken it away for everybody. You cannot create two categories of soldiers. If you're injured or you're wounded in the line of service, everybody ought to be treated the same. And that's my view.
Cynicism tinged with anger, and I understand the sentiment completely. Major DP Singh, you have gone through years of all kinds of struggle. You have been a war veteran. You have been India's first Blade Runner. You have done skydiving, notwithstanding your disability. And I know that today you're battling illness. And yet you've had this never say die spirit. आपकी अपनी spirit तो never say die है. But when you see policies like this, how does it make you feel, and what would you say, Major DP?
Firstly, considering the change in the taxation policy, which may happen now, I am not affected. I was invalidated out. But let me tell you, when my invalidation was done, even that time also, many of them were coercing me to give me in writing that I want to go out of the army, so that they make it, instead of invalidation, they make it a release medical board, right? Then later on, I realized that as a disabled person, I'll give you a different connotation. Normal disabled person of India also, they have been penalized because somebody in recent past they found have misused the disability certificate which helped them to take jobs or quota in IAS and other services. Now, if somebody has misused the disability quota despite not being a disabled, who is culprit? The person who has misused it and the authority who has given that disability certificate. But what they have done, they have tweaked the rules for make it more stringent for every other disabled person. Now, in the bargain, I am quoting one example which is not related to the taxation of invalidation, what we are discussing, but to help you out, how does the policy changes? In this bargain, what has happened? Many such facilities which were extended to persons with disability were tweaked and made more stronger to access those disability. For example, when I bought a new car, FASTag is something which you are supposed to have with your car once you take it out of the showroom itself, because if you drive on the highway without FASTag, it is illegal, right? But for me, I had to apply it to NHAI online, and it took me 1 month to get the FASTag. I am staying in Panchkula. NHAI office is next door. There are many disabled persons who are staying interiors of the India. For them to access the NHAI site is okay, but when they deliver the FASTag, you need to come and visit the NHAI office, nearest NHAI office, and show your disability again certificate and prove that you are the one with the Aadhaar card, and then they give you the FASTag.
Yeah.
Now, because of some cartoon, I have suffered. Similarly, here also, if there is somebody, they say that there are people who are misusing the disability which are extended for taxation benefit. Firstly, I question them, how can you say they are misusing? There is a letter floating of General Chopra, who was DGFMS in 2014, which mentions that there are a lot of journals who have misused have taken the disability on retirement for taxation benefit. That means the medics, the authorities, everybody has done a wrong thing in the line of process. Is it possible that somebody who's going for a release medical board or a board at the time of retirement, he can coerce everybody in line to give him the disability percentage? Is it possible logically? How can you quote such examples? And if they have done also, have you given punishment to such culprits? What right do you have to change the policy for others who are genuine? What right do you have? And who have given you that right? Even if General Rawat has given that unsigned note, which people quote in articles also, that 2019 Nirmala Sitharaman have got an unsigned note from somebody from Army headquarters, which clearly everybody knows that is being given by General Rawat. God bless his soul. But even if he has given, what right did he have? And I mean, don't the government have their own ingenuity that they are actually tweaking the rule which will make others suffer?
And Major DP Singh, of course, you are not impacted by this particular change in policy, but the reason I got you is that you have spent years running from pillar to post for basic things, so you know how it feels, and you know that
Exactly. Even if I am not impacted, I am here despite right now not in fully comfortable health state, because I want to stand with all my brothers in arms. There are seniors like General Cardozo, General Oberoi, who are in the downward age now, in the 80s and 70s. If you tax them now, this is a time when they need more comfort. This is the time when they need more money for their support system. And you are withdrawing that money. How will they live the life? And what impact does it have on the morale of youngsters of the India? A journal who fought a war for me is paying tax now because government has tweaked the route. Is it
terrible.
right?
It is.
Do you think that a youngster will join army looking at such journals? The change which you are making is actually humongous. Perhaps you do not have the senses or empathy or compassion to think deep down what is going to happen if you tweak this little rule.
I'm so glad you've
Are you
spoken
so
with
insensitive?
Yeah. Yeah. I want General Malik to just respond before I come to Ankur to this whispers of misuse. General Malik, I think Major DP is correct in saying कि अगर misuse है भी, तो as you pointed out, there is a process before anything is decided. If there is a misuse, question the process. Why punish? And I think Major DP Singh makes an excellent point. General Cardozo, General Oberoi, these are all officers in sort of the latter part of their life. They need support now. And they have served their full terms despite their disabilities, and they are the ones who will be impacted. A General Dhanoa would be impacted, but there are officers even older than him, maybe more frail than him today in body, if not in spirit. General Malik, if you want to respond to what both General Dhanoa and Major DP have said.
No, I think I totally agree with both of them on what they have said, and particularly DP. I know his case right from the beginning. The point is that at the moment, people like General Oberoi and Cardozo and all, they are going to lose out something on the pension, in their pension. So whatever they were getting till now that will get reduced, because now the income tax liability will come on the disability pension that they are paying. So, and it is totally unjustified. They look at today, I can say loudly that General Oberoi and General Cardozo and others, they have done the army proud. Otherwise, how would they be able to rise to that this thing? And this other part, as somebody is saying, that because some people have misused this facility, it is not the job of income tax officers to control that. It is the job of the army to make sure that they don't misuse it. It is up to the medical boards and it is up to the army hierarchy to make sure that those people who have misused this facility, they are not able to do that. And if they have done so, they should be punished. So it is not the job of the finance department to start getting involved in this kind of a thing. It is
Absolutely.
That would be a matter of discipline, and that should be controlled by the army and not by anybody else. So as far as I am concerned, I always say that, once you have given a concession and then you withdraw that, this is probably the most hurtful thing that you can do to a soldier.
Absolutely.
And that is what the government has now started doing it, which I think is totally unwarranted, unjustified.
I couldn't agree with you more. I wanted to come to Ankur, but Major DP, you have your hand up, so a brief interjection there. Yeah.
No, I just wanted to pitch in here by sharing that this misuse word is also actually being misused by somebody who has written such letters. The policy says that if you have attained any injury or health issue during service, it is attributable to the service. Simple. And it is correct because courts have also justified it. Then who are you and me to raise question on that part? Firstly. Secondly, do you think that somebody who is staying in Siachen eating tin food in so rarefied atmosphere, difficult terrain, he will not get BP? He may get BP 3-4 down the years in a peace posting. Will you say that no, now you are in peace posting, now you cannot have BP? Who are you? Medical science is so vast, even blood group difference can create a difference in the lifestyle of a person. If Singh today is able to run, fly, or fly an aircraft despite being 100% disabled, do you think that everybody can do that? Then you will equate with... In fact, the question was raised on me also. You are a walking soldier. How can you be 100% disabled? And somebody sitting in headquarters has actually done a cheating by overwriting and pasting a paper on his own and making it my disability from 100 to less than 100. Just because I was walking. It's my ability, man, that despite my injuries, I am able to do all that stuff. You may not be able to do so, but that does not allow you that you will equate me to somebody else.
Yeah.
Equating because of health issues, you are getting lifestyle diseases. Do I want a lifestyle disease on my own? I am from an organization which needs fitness. Do you think that I would genuinely say, no, I should have blood pressure, I should have this and that, which is lifestyle disease? It is because of the Viagra's and the places where you stay and do your posting. Half the
I
time
hear
you are
you.
away from your family, you are unable to talk to them. There are stresses and strains of the service conditions. You don't
Yes,
understand that?
absolutely. I mean, I understand it, I hope, but I
No,
clearly,
I'm not
someone in
saying you,
government,
Barkha.
no, I know. I clearly, somebody who made this policy does not understand it. And I think that's very well pointed out.
No, they
I do want,
understand. The one who made the policy, they understood. But the one who are now changing it, just like that, they will not think deep down, sympathetically, compassionately, that why did this policy
yeah,
was actually made in the beginning?
I,
Were they fools?
I want to just bring in Ankur, who again, of course, had to leave the NDA when he was a cadet. This policy doesn't impact him. The idea of getting Major DP and Ankur is these are people who have focused a lot, not just on their own cases, but on rights of veterans. For many years now. Ankur, you couldn't fulfill your dream to be a soldier, but I know you've remained connected with the cause and the community. How do you? And you've been talking to a lot of veterans. You've been working with a lot of disabled veterans. How do you see this, Dr. Ankur?
Thank you very much, Barkha. It's a pleasure to be with this August panel. Now, first of all, you said it doesn't impact me. I don't get disability pension. But yes, it impacts me, and I'm sure it'll impact you as well. When my soldier, someone who's got disabled guarding me and my nation is cheated, it impacts me. And I'm
Yeah,
sure every patriotic
I should
Indian.
correct. Absolutely. All I meant was the limited sense in
No,
terms of
yes, I understand that.
yes,
I
yes,
understand that, but I'm just drawing the line here that
yeah,
every patriotic Indian is impacted by this.
yeah,
Now, I'll make three quick points. First, we are a democracy. A democracy, the government should reflect, the governance should reflect the will of the people. Have a referendum today. Forget about disability pension. Have a referendum whether the soldiers should be taxed. I will bet my life that overwhelmingly our nation would say that the soldiers should not be taxed. That is what the public would say. The government does not say that. Coming to the second point, globally, the disability benefits or the criteria are being liberalized across the globe. In the corporate sector, I work in a senior corporate position today. Here also, we are becoming more disabled friendly. But why are we becoming more stringent and disabled unfriendly or hostile towards the disabled when it comes to disabled soldiers? We have the GMO 2023 and now this. The third point is about misuse of the facility. Now, I would request if someone can show me any one facility or any one privilege which is granted to a class of people and is not misused. I'll give you an example. Today, I'm very proud that my country has very good roads. There are people who overspeed, people who drive rash. Does that mean we should stop anyone from using the road or make bad roads because people misuse the good roads?
yeah,
This defies common sense and defies logic. Just because someone misused it, you stop it for everyone. So the deserving pay the price for the undeserving. Now, I would request a direct question to the Honorable Finance Minister. She was Defense Minister. And the misuse, so-called misuse, could not have started in the last 5 years, 4 years. It must have been there when she was Defense Minister. What has she done to stop the misuse, if at all? If she could not identify a single case of misuse and take action against that as a Defense Minister, what business does she have to
yeah.
call it a misuse and deny this as the Finance Minister?
Yeah, I think General Dhanoa was wanting to react to that, Ankur, if I may get him to react. And thank you again for speaking so passionately, Ankur. Even as someone who dreamt of being a soldier and couldn't fulfill that dream, I completely agree with you. I think it should impact every single thinking, feeling, patriotic Indian. We all raise our hands when we are asked to give our response to how we feel about the armed forces. But when it actually comes to specifics like this, we don't stand in solidarity. Those are, of course, old pictures of Ankur as a NDA cadet. General Dhanoa, you were wanting to come in. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so not contradicting or responding to anything, very sensible points made by both Major DP Singh and Mr. Ankur Chaturvedi. I wanted to bring out this point that why are we using this word misuse? I mean, there isn't any misuse. If anything, I will say that there is an unethical involvement at times when somebody has a disability or has a lifestyle disease which is because of service conditions, and possibly he hides it till the very last. And if he is able to rise to even as a colonel, and he goes home with 32 years of service, and then he is in his release medical board found to suffer from an ailment which was caused while he was in service, he very gladly accepts whatever the disability percentage that the doctors are giving him. And because of that, he is entitled to his pension plus the disability, and the entire pension is exempt from paying income tax. Now, this is the very nub of the problem that infuriated former senior military officers of the Indian Army in the late, should I say, 2018-2019 period. And it was just this. The misuse bit is not there. It is that why are some people able to get a disability pension? And it was because of this very fact that the Army itself recommended that we should change, firstly, the parameters under which we allow certain people to go home with lifestyle disease, disabilities. And if somebody is serving right till the very end, then he's got no business of claiming a battle casualty or a disability because he was able to serve. I mean, that's actually speaking not a valid argument, but that's the argument that's been put forward. And it was this anger towards a very small number who may have, in the end, said that I too suffer from a disability. I have hearing loss, I have arthritis, I've got diabetes. And they all had it. It's not that they didn't have it. I mean, how can you say that I am faking any of these diseases? So there is no misuse. It is the unethical, should I say, claiming of a certain amount of benefits which are given to those who have served and they are retiring with a disability. Now you've clubbed those who got lifestyle diseases because of tough service conditions, along with those who met with injuries along the way in their service, people like me, and also those who were injured in actual conflict. And you've said, okay, all of you, if you've served till your 30, 35 years of service, and it's invariably officers who are going home with larger amounts of money because that's what your terms and conditions are. You're not going home with 20,000 rupees of pension. You're going home with a lakh plus as your pensionary benefits. So obviously on that, if you're going to get 30% disability, you will take home a certain amount of money. Well, that's what the government is saying. Thank you. We are recompensating you for the fact that you lost a limb or that you were wounded in the line of duty. And therefore, you're supposed to be able to recompense for the fact that you may have certain aggravation as you get older. And that's how that additional money is given to people. And that's all it is. But because it was causing, the issue was that it was not your own happiness. It was the unhappiness you wanted to cause to others because you felt that they were cheating the system. I mean, I've heard these words. I've heard these words from the top brass of the time to say that people are cheating the system. There is no cheating the system. The system is what the government makes it. So why are we today now turning around and saying, okay, the army wanted it? I mean, that's what the finance minister has hinted in an interview or in a response to the Hindu to say that the army itself or the military itself wanted it. Did they?
Well, we have literally all ranks of officers on this program, and not one person up to the former chief agrees with what the finance minister has done. Our audience is also reminding us that there are people who have faked a disability, not in the military. We have the notorious case of Pooja Khetkar. They have faked disability to get benefits, to get an IAS post. And the question being asked is, there isn't enough stern action or reaction or pushback against cases like this, but real victims, people who've actually lost a limb, injured their hand, suffered grievous life-changing injuries, they are now being clubbed with imposters. And as General Dhanoa says, the system is what you make of it. I want to actually read out for all of you and for our audience, the wife of a serving soldier who will be impacted by this shared a letter. She says that her identity needs to be protected because her husband is still serving, but he's about to retire. And so, because this is something that impacts those who serve their full term, financially impacts, her husband is directly impacted by it. And I found this letter very moving. There are excerpts on the screen, but I'm just going to go through this letter that she's been sending to the finance minister, to the defense minister, to the top brass of the military. She says, I write this letter not as a policy expert or legal professional, but as the wife of an Indian Army officer who lost his leg due to gunshots in a terrorist encounter in Kashmir while serving and defending the nation during his tenure with Rashtriya Rifles in 2004. We had been married just for 4 years. Our daughter was only 2 years old. I think it's important to remember these details of what our soldiers go through. One moment, he was a soldier standing on the front lines for India. The next moment, he was learning to stand again, this time on a prosthetic limb. So this officer lost his leg in this terror encounter. This was not a lifestyle disease nor a condition acquired by choice. This was a war casualty paid for in blood, pain, and lifelong limitation. My husband did not choose to be disabled. He chose to be a soldier. He was hospitalized for 8 months. He underwent 8 major surgeries and approximately 40 blood transfusions. These medical interventions triggered a rare autoimmune neuromuscular disorder. Yet he chose to continue serving the nation and the organization. He opted to stand on a prosthetic limb and continue his duty to the country. We lived with the belief that the nation would stand by him when he could no longer stand on his own 2 legs. That belief is now shaken by the proposal to tax disability pension for veterans who were not boarded out, as if the sacrifice of a limb becomes less severe because the soldier chose to continue serving despite his disability. I ask with humility and pain, the wife goes on to write, does losing a leg in counterinsurgency operations cease to be a disability because one continues to serve? Can such an officer live like any other person after retirement? And was he ever informed that by continuing to serve the army, he was unknowingly forfeiting the dignity of tax exemption on his disability pension? It's a long letter, but I will just end by quoting the last line. Please do not equate a war injury with a lifestyle ailment, and do not let administrative technicalities diminish the honor of those who bled for the tricolor. My husband gave a part of his body, his long-term health, and his physical youth to the nation. I appeal to you to not take away a part of his honor. It's a very moving letter. It really made me tear up. General Malik, I think what we're missing in this, finances is one part of it. Dignity is another part of it. To take back, as you said, something that was part of your policy, to undignify a soldier who has lost a part of his body for the country, to make him feel small. I think that is also something that this conversation must focus on. General Malik.
I agree with you. There is absolutely no justification at all. I mean, you are giving concession to people who have been wounded, who have been, whether it is in combat or any other way, while serving in the armed forces, and you are giving certain tax concession to them, and then you suddenly withdraw them when they need that money. That is totally surprising. I mean, in the army, one of the aspects of leadership is empathy, and I find that people who have done this now, they totally lack empathy as far as the soldiers is concerned. So it is, what should I say? It's a shocking change that has been brought in by the finance ministry. Nothing more I can say, frankly. And
well,
I
thank
think
you
this
for
is really
saying that. Thank you for saying that, because we need many more people to come out and say it. I think that's the point, General Malik. And coming from somebody of your stature, with the place you hold in our society, in our country, I hope the finance minister will pay heed to you. I want Ankur to come in. Ankur, you said quite rightly that everyone is impacted by this, even if you're not financially impacted by it, because it's about the dignity of the soldier.
Absolutely. Now I find it strange that when it comes to symbolism, when it comes to talking about the soldiers, there is a one-upmanship on everything. But why just the government? Why just the finance minister? Do we see the people of a nation actually standing up for the soldiers? That is also a sad part. We
Yeah.
somehow as a nation do not stand with the soldier when he needs it the most. A soldier who's actually defending the nation actually does not need support from the population because he's doing his job. He's on his unit, the infrastructure. The army takes care of that. Army, navy, air force, whatever. The services take care of what he's supposed to do in action. It's only when he comes back to society, that he needs support, and that is the time.
Oh, we lost Ankur there, but General Malik, you were wanting to add a comment there, I think, General Malik.
I feel that it is a penny wise, pound foolish act that the government has brought in of taxing the concession that was being given earlier and not has now withdrawn it.
Absolutely. Before I give Major DP the last word, General Dhanoa, you said you feel cynical, a cynicism tinged with anger. Do you believe that at least now some people have started speaking up? This could be reviewed, and if it is reviewed, does it take away? I think dignity is something we don't talk often enough about. Finances are important, but dignity is as if not more important. Can't hear you, sir. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, absolutely, dignity is something which is very dear to everyone, and especially to retired veterans. And with this, even if later the whole issue does get reviewed, I have my doubts because of the way that it has been, should I say, put into the finance bill. There were clever answers which were given when it was up in front of one of the review committees. So I don't think so. And this feeling amongst whether it is within the government or whether it is elsewhere, that there are the defense forces get far too many privileges, etc. Why this feeling should be there? We have served our due time with honor, with dignity, with very little resources, if I may say so. And yet we have done the job that has been given to the nation, and we've done it with honor. But now that you are telling us that, sorry, you haven't paid your dues in terms of taxes, we will pay that, absolutely. But will I have high hopes from this government? No. I'm one of those staunch believers that if they actually had high regard, like Mr. Chaturvedi said, for the soldiers, this very clause would never have been even entered. That lack of empathy, which General Malik also emphasized, I think it's not only empathy, there is a total uncaring feeling for, somebody who has served his time. Okay, he's out, he's discarded, and that is it. You have to make do with the resources that you are left with. I'm quite happy. My dignity is in my hands, actually. And yes, I will carry on speaking about the fact that what has been done to us is incorrect. Do I expect too much of, should I say, self-correction from the government? No. I am of the firm belief that this is a thick-skinned government and they will not change.
Well, I think some of us are still going to keep speaking about it and hoping that they do. I know General Malik and I both spoke up about this on social media as well. I personally tagged the finance minister, not that I have the power to change her mind, but I hope that the collective voice of the military community does make a difference to her decision making. Dr. Ankur, you're back. A brief completion of your point, and I'll give Major DP the last word. Can't hear you, Ankur. Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. There was a technical issue. Now,
No problem.
if you, we are all talking about the government, but have we seen the type of we all talk about when we see movies, when we see especially action movies, we talk about the hype that it creates in the public. Have you seen anything like that
Yeah.
when decisions like this happen? Now it is the duty of the citizen to stand by the soldier when he needs it, and like I said, he needs it when he's back in the civil street.
Yeah.
And I sincerely hope that there will be people who will raise their voices. There would be pressure, and I'm still hopeful that the government will change its stand.
So am I. I think if we push for this together, this can still happen. But Major DP, as somebody who's literally conquered obstacle after obstacle, fought from pillar to post, run from pillar to post, you know what it feels like. And even now, you've joined this program, though you're not well. Life has thrown so many curveballs at you, and you've hit each one of them with a smile on your face. I want to give you the last word, Major DP Singh.
See, I am a very positive person and I will never leave hope from anywhere. I feel that at times there are people who give little, confused suggestions to the authorities who perhaps may not have understood that what exactly is the point they are trying to drive home, and did something which is unfortunately not the correct decision for the country. Forget about the armed forces and the army or the veterans. I feel that this is the time when everybody as an Indian should stand together and convey this correct point that soldiers are the first lines of defense, armed forces are the first lines of defense, because of which everything else is happening inside the country. If we are not there, then the country perhaps will fall apart. Unfortunately, in the recent past, I have seen Dr. Ankur is there, the cadets hardly in number 400, pension is not granted. Now the pension has been taxed. Is this the only organization from where you are going to save money? There are various ways and means which you can use to generate income, but it is incorrect that you tax somebody who has fought for the country, not for himself, defended the nation to keep it free and given freedom to us. Let us respect that freedom and understand there are some fundamental duties which we live to, which we have to follow. If I, as a 100% disabled, Barkha, over the years, how by the actions on ground I could bring the positive change in the life of persons with disability, especially the amputees. I have done so much of things in the area of Swachhta, disability, in the field of motivating the children who are doing suicides and whatnot, despite being 100% disabled.
Yeah.
So the hope I am not going to leave ever. And I am very damn sure that hope I will even revive in those people who are thinking that they perhaps are hopeless. At times we are feeling government is not doing that, but I am 100% confident, 101% confident that people will come together and convey this point to them that this perhaps is not the correct way of handling those respected veterans whom we actually adore a lot. Let us bring a small change in taxation policy and get them back their dignity and respect which they deserve. I'm very hopeful.
Well, I bless you, Major DP Singh, because you literally are a never say die human being, a unique human being, like so many of our soldiers are. And I doff my hat to all of you for the battles you fought in conflict zones, in war, and the battles you should never have had to fight once those wars and those conflicts were over. I very much still hope or feel that we have to keep raising our voice on this, because it is absolutely wrong. There is no ambivalence in my mind about this. It is simply wrong. And I think very much of veterans today, General Oberoi, General Cardozo, General Dhanoa is here, Major DP, and General Malik as the sort of patriarch, as it were, of the community. You have spoken, and I know that will mean a lot to many people. And I do hope that the finance minister takes the time to read the letter that the wife of this soldier who no longer has a leg has written, and hears the voices of all of you. Thank you so much. If you do not want to reduce nationalism to a slogan for primetime television, but want it to mean something, this policy has to go. Thank you very much, General Malik, General Dhanoa, Dr. Ankur, Major DP. Thank you. And to our audience, thank you, and see you tomorrow. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.